Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are commencing the Swadhyaya, the fourth of the Niyamas. Swadhyaya. It literally means Swa means oneself, and Adhyaya means study of oneself. This is signature condition of our philosophy and our scriptures. The core aspect of our scriptures is to initiate studies about oneself. Now, this is a unique dimension that the Vedic lore has given, because usually the knowledge objects are outside us, and in all ethnicities, in all religions, in all philosophies, in all cultures, the knowledge objects are outside us, and all knowledge pursuits are with regards to the things and objects outside us, and with respect to that. And that is what is not this. And what is this is oneself. And what is that is generally understood to be not oneself. The point is that knowledge pursuit is by sending the senses and human intelligence and psyche consciousness outside in search of the things which are around and beyond. While the wisdom of the Lord suggested that there is realm of knowledge within oneself. Knowledge is not outside oneself, but within oneself. And the knowledge pursuit, as is called Adhyatma, or rendered as spirituality, is knowledge pursuit within. So the senses or mind and intelligence are not sent out, but they are sent in. And that is what is Adhyatma, as we have often understood the definition of Adhyatma in Bhagavad Gita. Adhyatma jnanam nityatvam tattva jnanat sadarshanam etad jnanam iti proktam a-jnanam yadalonyatha. The rest all is considered to be ajnanam, and only this about oneself is really the knowledge. So knowledge pursuit as advocated by wisdom of the Lord is to be going within oneself and have search within oneself rather than search outside. Therefore, the Swadhyaya also means Adhyayanam. That means the Vedas pertain to all knowledge that is actually within. And then it is postulated that all that is around you, outside you, is within you. The infinite universe outside has a miniature manifestation within. And this is a wonderful piece of wisdom that the wisdom the Lord has given. What is in Brahmanda is in Pindanda. And therefore the knowledge should come from within, and this knowledge is such that once you have this knowledge accomplished, you don't have to have any knowledge in the outside realm because it is included. Eka vijnanenam idam sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati. By knowing this one, you get to know everything. That is what the Upanishads declare, and this is particularly a quotation from Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. And therefore, in Vedanta, it is postulated that by knowing Brahman, everything is known. Because everything is Brahman. And therefore, the search of Brahman is within and not the search of Brahman outside. Anyway, this is the signature condition of the Vedic wisdom, Vedic culture. So the Swadhyaya also means Vedadhyanam. Swadhyaya again also means Pranavadi Pavitra Mantra Japa. So again we get a clue that Pranava etc. Pavitra mantras pertain to something very subjectivistic. And therefore Vyasa makes it clear the Swadhyaya is Pranavadi Pavitra Mantra Japa, that is on one hand. On the other hand, Moksha Shastra Adhyayanam. Moksha Shastra, Parama Purushartha Shastra. Moksha again is a subject matter that is about oneself. So it is strangely, knowledge about oneself itself is liberating science, liberating Shastra, liberating wisdom. So even to pursue Parama Purushartha called Moksha, one needs to have knowledge pursuit about oneself, within oneself. So therefore human embodiment is a marvel. So Vyasa makes it clear about Swadhyaya. Wherever Swadhyaya comes up, he says it is Pranavadi, Pranava etc., Om etc., Parama Pavitra Mantra Japa. Parama Pavitra, Pavitra Mantra. Pavitra Mantranam Japaha. Even that Japa should be understood that it is something which is in pursuit of search within. It is not that the mantras are body of some hymns and they are to be by-hearted. The mantras also have that what you call a sutra or thread to oneself. And this meaning has been divulged to you when we considered the Pranava Japa Sutra in the first chapter. So this Swadhyaya has that meaning, and very word throbs with its meaning, what we call a self-study. It is not study by oneself only, it is study about oneself as well by oneself. So that is the Visheshartha. Pranavadi, Pavitra Mantra Japa and Moksha Shastra Adhyayanam. Then it is also therefore includes Vedadhyanam. That's also called Swadhyaya when the Vedanta studies or Vedas were studied in Vedashalas. That was called Swadhyaya. That means Vedas pertain wisdom about oneself. Then who are we? We are not paltry bit an individual, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, but we are a marvel by ourselves. We are subject matter of Veda Vedanta. Anyway, So, we are subject matter of study, we are not a subject entity to be studying the objects. Otherwise, the knowledge is all outside us. We have knowledge about something which is not oneself. The man has been going in pursuit of knowledge by thinking that one is the center and then what is all around is something that is knowable and that should be known. What is in front of you, what is behind you, what is on the right of you, what is on the left of you, what is under you, what is over you, what is beyond you. And we never consider that we ourselves are subject matter of knowledge. It is Adhyatma which tells us that we ourselves are subject matter of knowledge. And we are such a subject matter of knowledge, by knowing this, everything is known. So to know everything, it is not that we should go everywhere. To be knowing everything, we must go inwardly. And that is what the Adhyatma has contributed for human wisdom. Anyway, now we are dealing with the Niyama Swadhyaya. So we get another dimension here. When Patanjali speaks about the outcome of Swadhyaya, consequence of Swadhyaya, Swadhyaya ishta devata samprayogaha. That means one gets connection, association, hotline with one's own personal deity. And personal deity is again such a thing that Upasana Shastra says that personal deity is always considered as the Brahman, ultimate principle. So Ishtadevata Upasana also means Brahmopasana. Ishtadevata is always described as that from whom the creation ensues, and from due to him the creation is sustained, and unto whom the creation ultimately dissolves, which is the definition of Brahman. Like the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayatna bhisa vishantiti. So janmadhyasya yadaha. That Brahman is one. It is not just an entity. It is the entity from whom the entire creation, phenomenal to nominal, gross to subtle, visible to invisible, absolutely whole creation comes forth, lives by, is sustained by, and ultimately dissolves into. That is what is Brahman. And when Ishtadevata, personal deity, is worshipped, it is worshipped with that bhavana that itself is Brahman. The personal deity can be Ganesha, Dattatreya, Hanuman, Devi, Rama, Krishna, Hari, Shiva, whatever is the personal deity. That personal deity is always worshipped as Brahma Tattvam. So, Swadhyayat Ishtadevata Samprayoga also means Swadhyayat Brahma Samprayoga. Even the very Brahman, principle of Brahman, ultimate principle of Vedanta, is given association, or association is had, or a hotline is had. So, why is it that Patanjali says Ishta Devata Samprayoga? Because in our tradition, personal deity is the most coveted deity to be worshipped. And that is looked at, considered as Ishvara, Parameshwara, Paramatma, Parabrahma. So, Ishtadevata is worshipped in Parabrahma Swarupam, Paramatma Swarupam. So, Ishtadevata is a personal deity for whom a seeker will have utmost love, affiliation, bhakti. Shraddha, bhakti would be there to the most extent to personal deity. And therefore, the grace of personal deity becomes paramount because that is most sought after principle for a sadhaka. And that is why Swadhyaya Ishta Devata Samprayoga. So we get another dimension that in Swadhyaya there is Devata upasana, personal deity, Ishta Devata, as well as the whole class of Devatas. And we have seen during the discussion of Ishvara topic why one God manifests in several ways in our culture. Why there is a concept of Vedic pantheon. On one hand it says the divinity is one, but then there is also pantheon, whole band of Deva Devatas, 330 million Devatas. Those are form of one and the same ultimate principle. So Devata Upasana is also subject matter of Patanjali's text, and usually this is overlooked. And Devata concept is a unique concept, a glorious concept, a prolific concept in Vedic thought process and Vedic culture. Now, therefore, as I said, there are 330 million Devatas, Devatas, there are deities, there are demi-deities, there are semi-deities, and one of them will be personal deity. So through personal deity, it also implies that we try to study, or it is implied that we try to study entire Devata Kanda. Devata Upasana is important. And in Mimamsa there is a Devata Kanda, which is Dharma Mimamsa. So understand the relationship between Dharma, Upasana, Devata Upasana, Ishta Devata Upasana, Brahma Upasana. Otherwise we just say that our Dharma is very ritualistic. We only see the ritual aspect in our Dharma. This is a layman's idea of Dharma, and the layman identifies only ritualism, ritualistic aspects, but fails to understand the Devata there, concept of Deva Devatas, concept of that pantheon, Vedic pantheon, and then relationship between Devata and Brahman, which I briefly mentioned just now. Ishta Devata itself is considered as Brahman. Ishta Devata Upasana itself is Brahma Upasana and has to be Brahma Upasana. Now, why is this being suggested? Why is that we should worship Devatas? In Devata worship, are we the beneficiaries or are they the beneficiaries? See, if you adore a person, worship or praise a person, the hidden aspect is that the beneficiaries are we. If you are praising a person, that means the person, you make that person a benefactor to you and you become beneficiary. That's why we praise someone. Why we praise someone is because the person is praiseworthy, or by praising that person we get benefit. This is what is the reason behind praise. So why do you praise someone? Either the person is great and praiseworthy, therefore you praise. But in praising such a person, you are becoming a beneficiary. That person becomes a friend to you, that person obliges you, that person grants some kind of, showers some kind of boons, and you become beneficiaries. So basically why Devata Upasana is mentioned, it is for both the reasons that the Devatas are praiseworthy, they should be praised, their power is something that it entails a praise from mankind. They have praiseworthy qualities, praiseworthy powers, praiseworthy empowerments. But other thing about Devata Upasana which is distinct, unique compared to Upasana of a mortal. Why do you worship a person, mortal? Unless you are beneficiary, you won't. Or the person is really great and therefore. But if you worship Devatas, it becomes Sadguna Jopasana. That means you start earning meritorious qualities in you. By praising a human being, you don't get those qualities. But by praising deities, gods, you start getting sadgunas. You start earning sadgunas. And that is something that the gods like. What do the gods like in you? Your misbehavior? Your misconduct? The band of bad qualities that you might be having? No. They like the band of good qualities that you have. So that is dear to gods. And by praising gods, we earn the qualities which the gods like. Deva Priya Gunas, Deva Priya Guna Sanghata. So by Devata Upasana, by Ishta Devata Upasana, by Ishta Devata Anushtanam, one would be earning meritorious qualities which are dear to all gods and your personal deity. So, now the point that we need to understand here, that in traditional academics, which we had considered in one of the very earlier sessions, that's called Paramparika Shikshana, Paramparika Vidyarjanam. That means the studies, traditional studies, were such that it helped one develop meritorious qualities. So also what is called as Griya Samskar, the samskars which come in family system, samskars which came in social system in classical times, old times, ancient times, Vedic times. So they were giving lots of samskars which were meritorious. So what we today call as value-based education was only the education then. It was all value-based and not profession-based, job-based. Today the education is for you to become earning member. Education qualifies you to take up a job and earn some money, your livelihood. But that was not the outlook in ancient times. It did not make you a money earning member, but they were all value based education. They helped inculcate good values, noble values, eternal values, all-time values. And today that's why we are starting to understand the importance of value-based education than material purpose-based education. And it has become very dangerous. The human being is losing the human culture. And human culture is not gotten by educational pursuit, educative pursuit. As a matter of fact, it is killing those human values. So, which is an unfortunate travesty. And we have started understanding this flaw in our modern educational system. Anyway, the Paramparic education, the education that was there traditionally in Vedic periods, and until not too long time ago, the education was encouraging, instilling dharmya vritti, astikya vritti, satvik vritti, sat pravrutti, papabhiru vritti, dharmarjana pravrutti, paramartha vritti. So these are all bodies of values. And the education then was instilling values in a huge way. Dharma vritti means to be on the path of dharma and not to deviate from the path of dharma, not to compromise with the path of dharma. That is called dharma vritti. Or simply it can be understood as virtuous vritti, noble vritti, astikya vritti. Astikya vritti is rendered as theistic vritti. So theistic vritti means only believing in God or believing in God. But astikya is a wider concept. Astikata is to believe in certain realities which are not matter of empirical perception or cognition. You will never experience them empirically, pratyakshataha. You will never experience, but they are realities. That is the theory of incarnation, which is a reality. We are born again and again and again and again and again. The birth follows death as much as the death follows the birth. Believing in karma siddhanta, believing in punarjanma, believing in devatas, believing in celestial planes, believing in paramartha, that is astikya buddhi. Then satvik vritti, sattva guna, you are all aware of what sattva guna is. So, the education then, Paramparic education, made someone incline and get gravitated towards satvik vritti, sattva guna vritti. So also sat pravrutti. Sat pravrutti means good disposition, gravitating towards virtue, good, merits. Papa bhiru vritti means to be having a dread for sinning and therefore weaned away from sinning. Dharmarjana pravrutti, to earn dharma. Dharma needs to be earned. Whereas a modern man only thinks of money to be earned, wealth to be earned, riches to be earned, and one doesn't think of earning merits, earning dharma. So dharma pravrutti came by that education. traditionally. Then Paramartha Pragbhar, gravitating towards spirituality, the life beyond, and life beyond the life and death, Paramartha. So this is how that value-based education was there, which was advocated by the Vedic culture. Now if you compare our time education in some decades ago, it became Vyavasaya Bhimukha, that you should become a money earning machine. So to make you money earning machine, the education was designed. And despite that, we are finding unemployment. All education is how you will earn money and make your living by earning money, as if we live only by money. So that's called Vyavasaya Bhimukha Shikshana, while traditionally it was believed to be Mulya Adhishthit education. And today it is not only not Mulya Adhishthit, it is Mulya Maraka. It is killing values. So today's education is such that it not only discourages or not only is miserly to give Mulya, the values, but it is Mulya Maraka. This is an unfortunate travesty. It is killing the human values. This is what our education is today. So, the so-called well-educated people are described to be in predicates that is going to follow now, which I am going to divulge, according to one of the modern saints, modern time saints. He said that well-educated people are characterized by a certain body of durgunas, bad qualities. What is it? Samskritihinata, culturelessness. Education has nothing to do with culture. It is not proper to say that educated people are cultured people. As a matter of fact, educated people are becoming to be encouraged to be cultureless. Samskritihinata, vyavahara bhimukhata, practical mindedness. The education is making one very, very, very unduly practical minded, which goes overboard. One goes overboard on practicality of life. So also dharma landa vritti. Dharma landa vritti means not only not adhering to dharma, but advocating the opposite. Nastika vritti. Rather than becoming astika, educated people are becoming nastika. They are becoming atheists. They are disbelievers. They become disbelievers of reality, such as Punarjanma, Parloka. So they don't believe in all that. Excessive rationalism rather. Jadavadi, Bhogavadi. So consumerism is rampant because of education. So what education has done is that the educated people, as that poet said, all that they do, you will cite that there is something that is called as Abrahmanyam. Abrahmanyam. Now, the opposite word of this is the name that you find in South Indians called Subramanyam. What is Subramanyam? Brahmanyam is wiseness. Subramanyam is good wiseness, sufficient wiseness. And otherwise what you see because of education is Abrahmanyam. That means what a noble person should not do is what educated person would be doing. Propitiating it, practicing it, advocating it, encouraging it. What should not be done. So the Abrahmanyam is becoming rampant even in the Brahmin class of our times, the Dvijas of our times, the twice born of our times. You will see that there is Abrahmanyam. While in Vedic times, the education made everyone who came into the fold of education became Subramanyam. So the Brahma Vrundas were praised in Vedic times. Those who had knowledge, Vedic Vedantic knowledge, were hailed high. They were praised. And that's why, as I said, that traditional education turned out Subramanyams in us. While our time education, particularly the education in India that is pushed by the Britishers, who were imperialistic people, they forced their education into India, and only what we harvested was Abrahmanyam, and the Subramanyam remained only the name, but in their conduct it was all Abrahmanyam. So the traditional education was stampeded by not too long a rule, which was hardly 150 years, the British rule, completely tried to uproot the knowledge process pursuit in we people and instilled their education under the name of Macaulay's development. And that development was to destroy or weaken the human fabric in mankind. Anyway, so in traditional education, there was something that was called Adhyayanam, because everyone belonged to one of the Veda Shakhas. There are Rigvedis by birth, there are Krishna Yajurvedis, there are Shukla Yajurvedis, there are Samavedis, there are Atharva Vedis. So everyone, at least the twice born, was encouraged to be taking up Adhyayanam. And you find the advocacy of Adhyayan even in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So the twice born, who were Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, were initiated through the threads ceremony Mauji Bandhanam. Through that, of course, that ceremony, and they were supposed to be carrying out Svashakha Adhyayanam minimum. And then Sangha Veda Adhyayanam. This also was considered while we dealt with the traditional academics a long time ago. So Sangha Veda Adhyayanam, there are the Sharanga Vedas, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakran, Nirukta, Chanda, Jyotish. Studying Itihasa, Puranas and Shastras was the Veda Adhyayanam. The Veda Adhyayanam not only made one by heart Vedas, but also go for Vedartha Jignasa, trying to understand the meaning of Vedas. So in ancient times there were Vidyasthanas which get mentioned in Smritis. There are 10. What are the 10 Vidyasthanas? Dasha Vidya. They were necessary for Vedartham, or to really ascertain, arrive at the meaning of Vedas and not stop at by hearting Vedas. So what were the 10 Vidyas? Purana, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharma, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakrana, Nirukta, Chanda, Jyotish. So these were the subject matters which were studied in traditional times. So Swashakha Adhyayanam was fundamental and basic requirement. But it also later developed those who were more inclined to such pursuit, Vedadhyanam pursuit. Somebody became Dvivedi, somebody became Trivedi, somebody became Chaturvedi. So Swashakha Adhyayan means studying one Veda Shakha. But then there were some who pursued more and became Dvivedis, and so much so that that became the surname to them, family name, Dvivedi. Then some became Trivedi, studying the three Vedas, and some became Chaturvedis, studying all the four Vedas. Anyway, traditionally they were also called Dashagranthi Brahmana. Dashagranthi means the 10 Vidyas which I just now listed. They became well versed in these 10 branches: Purana, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharma, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakran, Nirukta, Chanda and Jyotish. So they were called Dashagranthi Brahmanas. Now they are completely uprooted. We don't get any Dashagranthi Brahman, unfortunately. Then Vedas had 6 Vedangas: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakran, Chanda, Nirukta, Jyotish. We had a brief introduction to these Shastras when we considered the traditional academics. Then some people went for post-graduation studies as well. There are 6 Upavedangas. If there are 6 Vedangas such as Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakran, Nirukta, Chanda, Jyotish, there are 6 Upavedangas, and they are Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta, called as Shad Darshanas. So Shad Darshanas are Shad Upavedangas. So in the 10 Vidyas which we listed, these also got included. So just as information, let me tell you, the Nyaya, which is one of the Vidyas, Dhyana. Nyaya means Nyaya Vaisheshika Darshana studies. Dharma means Sankhya Yoga studies. And Mimamsa means Purvottara Mimamsa studies. Jaini Mimamsa and Badrayana Mimamsa. So that's how the Dashagranthi Brahman was also well versed in darshanas, Shad darshanas. So, to refresh your memories, let me tell you briefly, Shiksha. It is Vedochara Shastra Shuddha study. How the Vedas should be uttered purely, faultlessly, flawlessly. So this is a study of Swara Varna Uchchara. That is Shiksha. And Shiksha Shastra was spearheaded by Sri Pingalacharya and also Maheshwara Sutra. So these were studies in Shiksha. Then Kalpa, which is again one of the Dashavidyas. Kalpa means Shrauta Sutra, Dharma Sutra, Gruhya Sutra and their studies. Each Veda Shakha has Shrauta Sutras. Each of the Vedas have Dharma Sutra and Gruhya Sutra as well. So there are Sutra Granthas called Shrauta Sutra, Dharma Sutra, Gruhya Sutra, which are attached to each Veda. For instance, Taittiriya Shakha has Adhyayan and Apastambha Sutras. There are again Sutra Granthas called Shrauta Sutras, Gruhya Sutras. Shrauta Sutras describe the Prayogam in Yajna Samstha. Because Vedas advocate Yajna Samstha and there are certain Prayogas and they are described in Shrauta Sutra. And Gruhya Sutra mentions about the samskars, Shodasha samskars, Gruhya samskars, Varnashrama dharma, Samaja dharma, Achar vidhan, then jurisprudence, Danda vidhan, Raja dharma, Rajaniti, Samajaniti, Samaja dharma, Vyaktiniti, Vyakti dharma. So that is what is found in the Kalpa of one of the Dashavidyas. Then Vyakrana. Vyakrana is for Shabdartha Jnana, Shabdotpatti, Pada Vakya Rachana, Pada Vakya Shastra, Vedartha Jnana process, how to arrive at meanings of Vedic hymns or Vedic literature, how to arrive at their meanings. So you get their Panini Ashtadhyayi, Patanjali's Mahabhashya, Katyayana's Vartik. So they constitute the Vyakarana Shastra. Then Chanda Shastra is studying the meters. As all the Vedic hymns are in meters, there is study of these meters and Vrutta. So that is Chanda Shastra. Nirukta means the words that come in Veda Vedartha, Veda Shastra. What is the Vyutpatti Mulaka Artha? Etymological meaning, philological meanings. So this Nirukta comes handy to carry out study in that dimension. So there is Yaskacharya Kruta Dvadashadhyayi, and then the 13th chapter is a supplement to that Shastra called Kashyapi Nighantu. Then comes the Jyotish Shastra. In Veda Karma Kanda, the time factor is so important. Almanac is so important. Chandra Surya Gati is so important. Nakshatra Gati is so important. in order that like the things are proper when they are done at proper time. Although the things are proper if they are proper, they are more proper if they are done at a proper time. So therefore the Veda karma, yajna karma also needs that it should be done at a right opportune time, proper time. And for that this Jyotish Shastra was there. It studied the chronology, the time. Gargacharya penned down Atharvana Jyotish Shastra. So it also becomes a Vedanga. The Vedas have parts such as Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. And each of the Vedas have Upaveda. Rigveda has Ayurveda as its Upaveda, Yajurveda has Dhanurveda as Upaveda, Samveda has Gandharva Veda as Upaveda, Atharva Veda has Sthapatya Veda as Upaveda. So the Upavedas were also penned down, like tradition tells us. Ayurveda by Dhanvantari, Dhanurveda by Mahadeva Rachita, Vishwamitra Pranita, Gandharva Veda by Bharata Muni, Sthapatya Veda by Vishwakarma. So these were traditional pursuits of knowledge. Then the Nyaya Shastra by Gautama Kanadiya. The Gautama Rishi and Kanada Rishis penned down Nyaya Sutras and Vaisheshika Sutras respectively. Then of course they had their bhashyas like Vatsyayana Bhashya, Prashastapada Bhashya for Nyaya and Vaisheshika respectively. The Dharma of the 10 Vidyas included Sankhya, Yoga, Pashupata, Pancharatra, Agama, Smriti. These were the texts in Dharma. Itihas means Ramayana and Mahabharata, and Purana means 18 Puranas, 18 Upapuranas. So these were traditional academics. So this was what the Swadhyaya circumscribed in those times. So let's try to carry out the enunciation to Swadhyaya in our next session. So enough for the time being. Namaskar all of you.